Happy Monday, Pathlings. I'm Spin Pixie, your host for today. And a couple of things before I actually get into the video, just a few notes. I wanted to apologize for this video being so late. I've been attending to some life stuff this weekend, and usually I try to get my video done over the weekend. It just didn't happen this weekend, so I apologize for my tardiness. And then also, if I'm a little sniffly, I apologize if I didn't catch something in editing, but I'm a bit under the weather, which is why I'm not on camera. And also, I apologize for the lack of visuals this week. So hopefully you guys can be doing other things while you listen to me blather on, because I just did not. I did not put, a bunch of pictures or try to do a video this week other than just talky. So now that that's out of the way, for the past couple weeks, we've been really trying to delve into the last bit of the basic stuff. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of things. And the reason is because I wanted to have this channel be somewhere that if you're barely starting on your path, you can come and start at the very beginning and build your confidence as you see the way that other witches do things. And so that's why I wanted to go really slow. And after these next couple weeks, we're going to really delve into some heavy duty studies, hopefully, and yeah, so this week we're talking about a couple of different things. We're talking about spell casting and circle casting and things of that nature, and just getting the last bit of basics out of the way, so we can get into the good stuff. So this week I am going to be talking about pagan ethics and the different colors of witchcraft. Now, pagan ethics is what I'm going to start with, because I believe that due to this pagan ethics thing, we get subdivisions in our community of I'm a black witch, I'm a white witch, I'm a green witch, I'm a gray witch, I'm a, any color witch, rainbow witch, red witch, whatever you want to call it. And I'll get to my thoughts on that in just a moment, but I believe it is spawned from your ethics. Now, for those of you who don't know what ethics are, ethics is just your belief system on how you do things. Treat others the way you want to be treated. You get what you give. Karma, kismet, whatever you want to call it. Those are sort of the principles that reside in your ethics. Now, it is from those ethics that people, gravitate toward a color of witchcraft. And so when you're first starting on your path, the thing to do is think about how you view magic. Do you view magic as the Wiccans do, where everything comes back at you threefold? Do you believe in harming none? What do you believe in? And then after you figure out, okay, so do you believe in harming none? Well, what exactly does that mean to you? Does that mean that under no circumstances will you cast on anyone? Think about what these things mean to you and the circumstances in which you would or would not use magic. And write them down. I encourage you to write a lot, to journal, to keep a book of shadows, to do these things when you're starting out, because you're going to go back to these when you're a little more advanced on your path, and you're going to see, oh, this has changed. And I also advise you not to throw anything away. Because the people who come after you, if you have a daughter or a son or a niece or a nephew or a grandchild that comes after you, let them see your mistakes. Let them see how your philosophies and things have changed. And that will help them too. So at this point, I'm encouraging you guys to write down, what ethics are to you. What do you believe is right and what do you believe is wrong in the case of magic? Now, ethics, the need for ethics in this community comes from the fact that we are able to change and manipulate energies and change and manipulate the thoughts or the people around us to suit our will, if we so desire and if we have the ability. And now, if we didn't have some sort of ethics, then we would get people giving oho and, cursing and, bad juju to witches right, left, and center, just for sneezing on them or whatever, So I think that as we develop our path, it's important to develop the type of ethics that we have in regards to how we're going to use our magic. Some people believe in the law of three. Some people believe in karma. Some people believe or don't believe in karma. Some people don't believe in karma at all. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about one of those instances. Now, Ashura Star Goddess said it best, and if you don't watch her, I highly recommend watching her. She's very advanced at what she does. And she talks a lot about science and dark energy, and I love watching her. There's very seldom that I will watch a video and not get anything from it. She's just really awesome to watch, so I highly recommend her. Now, she doesn't fit everyone's ethics palette, but I just think that you're going to learn something from her when you watch her. So she said that, and I wrote this down, and something that I found a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it was, kind of fate that I found this so that I can share this with you guys, because this is, to me, is really helpful. So I personally don't believe in the law of three. And my views on karma are really complex, so I'll explain those later, but it kind of goes along with what she's saying. And what she said was, and I'm paraphrasing her because I don't remember her exact quote, but if you work with earthly energies, it's going to come back to you. And if you work with universal energies, that doesn't come back to you. And this is what I took from that. You figure the air from the Arctic, the current, everything starts in the Arctic and it makes its way around the entire globe before getting back to the Arctic. Everything on this earth has a circular orbit and it all comes around. That's why what goes around comes around. That's where it comes from. It's that theory that everything that starts in one place is going to make it back to that place. And it may take weeks, months, years, days, hours, seconds, whatever. But it will come back. But if you work with universal energies, if you're working with universal, that's anti-gravity. As Ashura says, it's anti-gravity. So what I take that to mean is that if you work with those energies, once you send something off, it just expands out into the universe, just like we would if we were sent aloft out into space, without any hope of coming back. We would just expand and expand and expand. Eventually, it would dissipate. Until, and that's kind of how, in my mind, how spells work. You put them in motion and you have to let them run their course until they, reach their zenith and then they begin to dissipate. And that's kind of how I look at things as far as ethics goes, in my view. But some people believe, simply, no matter what it is that you do, it will come back to you. It's going to find you. It's going to, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it's going to find you. And a lot of people have different views, different takes on magic. And that's why it's really up to you to formulate what your own belief systems are. In magic, it doesn't matter whether it's in magic or just in life in general. Everybody's going to have, their own specific belief system. Things are going to be different than your friend. Your friend and you might have 85.5% of the same belief system, but there are going to be some variances, for sure. And that's just how it happens. Now, this is why, to me, the 50 Shades of Witch doesn't work for me. You have people calling themselves white magic, white witch, black witch, green witch, etc. And I don't think that works. And this is why. Here's the best case that I can give you. Let's say I call myself a white witch. And so white witch do harm to none, believes in the law of three, all that kind of stuff, okay? Let's say my friend is, has a bad headache and I send her healing energy, or she asks for healing energy and I send her healing energy. Well, that act of kindness could be seen by someone else who claims to be a white witch as black magic. The reason being is that I am manipulating her I'm manipulating the energy around her. And even though she might have asked for it, I'm still manipulating her. I'm still casting on her. And this might be something that she was karmically meant to suffer because of something she did. And by me doing that, what I believe is an act of kindness, I'm actually manipulating her life situation. And that's not good. You don't do that. So one person's white magic is another person's black magic. One person's gray magic is another person's black magic. It just, everyone, because everyone has their own belief system, everyone is going to look at the colors in witchcraft differently. And all that I've seen this do is lead to debate. And because there are so many other things that divide this community, this is the last thing that we need to be throwing in the mix to divide ourselves further. So I tend to just, look at it as everybody practices witchcraft. End of. Their ethics systems, their belief systems might be different, but everybody's just a witch. It doesn't matter if you consider yourself a white witch. To someone else, you're a black witch. You're doing black magic. Ooh, And some people do not consider black magic bad magic. Some people consider black magic working with the universe, working with the ether, working with that dark matter, the dark energy. Not necessarily negative magic. It's just working with that dark energy, and that's fine. It doesn't mean that they're casting evil spirits or, evil spells or curses on people. It just means that they choose to charge their crystals or in the dark, with dark energy. They choose to work on the dark of the moon instead of the full moon. And that's fine, So I just think that it's the best way to handle the many colors of witchcraft and pagan ethics is to develop your own system as to what works and not throw in the classifications of what color witchcraft you do. Because all that does is seek to divide the community even more so than it already is. And for no real good cause. Because, it's not important what color your witchcraft is. What's important is your ethics and what you believe, and that you develop your own system of doing things that works for you, that you can tolerate. If you are somebody who believes in an eye for an eye, then you're not going to want to sit there behind the wick and read because you're not going to believe it fully. So it's really up to you to just sit there with yourself and think about what, in regard to magic, what is something you would not do? What are your boundaries? Where are your no-go zones? And then what could, and then what, how far are you willing to go when pushed to your limit? Now, sometimes if you get into a coven, they have a particular belief system or a particular way of doing things. If that doesn't sit well with you, perhaps that's not the coven to be in. Because chances are, if you were to tell one of your friends in the coven what you're doing, which you really shouldn't be doing anyway, but if you were to tell them what you're doing privately and they didn't agree with it, and word got around as to what you're doing, that's A, going to impede what you're trying to send out, and B, it's going to make for very awkward and tense situations within your coven. So you really have to think about your own style of doing things prior to taking on someone else's, so you know what you're willing to do and not do, and what you're willing to be a part of or akin to, and what you're not. That will be it for me. I will see you guys next week. Many blessings. Bye-bye.